Hello.
All
How's
right. Hi,
everyone
everyone.
doing?
Yes, we're excited to be here again this week. And yeah, today we're just going to kind of chit chat and explain a little bit more to you guys about the process of relationships. And we're going to do that through the medium of Kim and I having a conversation to get more clarity on what each other is doing in the world and our work and collaborating and things like that. So we're going to more introduce ourselves and share with you guys what we're really doing and provide you guys with links because we do have some pretty unique approaches to getting people into their power, into their authenticity, and helping bring that into a practical application into your work, right? So no matter where you are in your life or what you're doing for your work, this can probably be helpful for you. And yeah, Kim and I were just having a conversation because we both are, entrepreneurs and we're empowered women who have been working for ourselves for a while and just really navigating that realm and how to support each other and support our clients, right? And kind of all work together in different ways by gaining more clarity and using the codes and using Kim's punchline approach to really ground in what we're all working on. And yeah, it's just really interesting. And this whole process has been pretty fun.
And you missed the
So,
part about we're both 6'2", so we love
yes.
geeking out on human design and even looking at our blueprints and roadmaps and gene keys and exactly what's going on in the planets at the time that we think is all about us, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
So we love talking about relationships, building better relationships, first of all, with yourself, with others around you. And as 6'2s, we're just visionaries for the potential of humanity. And so like there's this burning desire inside of us to create something to help humanity see and shift their perception. So Danielle does it through the tools and through the mechanics. And she's the gal you go to understand all about the planets and stuff like that, because I don't do that. And I'm the one who helps you take the simple, practical approach of integrating the framework so that you can embody that, the potential that you actually are, because so much of it is missed through conditioning, whether that came from the environmental messaging, generational patterning, religious dogma, just conditioning in general, the things that we were taught as children that have imprinted and created this story, this dialogue or narrative within ourselves that we're now living and we think it's our truth. And it's not our truth. And so we both bring to the table deconditioning process to understand yourself better, but we do it in two different ways. So Danielle bringing the mechanics, and then I'm speaking like, hey, okay, that's all fine and great. For those of you who don't know what she just said, this is what you do with it. And then we kind of just bounce it back and forth. So we've done quite a bit of work together for over a couple of years now.
Yes, yeah, we've been talking and we met in an interesting way as well, and just we're both on a very similar path where we're as 6'2s reaching out to others, or really people are coming to us to get a better understanding of how to operate correctly, either in their business or within themselves. So we thought that kind of bridging these two methods is super powerful and really allowing you to be empowered in your truth and then to share that, because each one of us has a unique thing that we're here to do. So between both of our tools, we can really help you to harness that and hone it and anchor it in, and then have that take care of you, right? Like you can reach a lot of people, share your expression, get into your true consciousness and really move through that space, because so many people in the world are doing things that like are not correct, right? How many people do you know that are just in this certain job because they think they have to be, or they're doing these certain things out of obligation or whatever, but it's not really their true purpose. So we work with masters, we work with people that are in that space of like, okay, I'm ready to be in my truth, to do what I'm here to do, and to work together to find out what that is, and to be in my own authority. And from there, that's what provides true value, right? If you can tap into your true uniqueness, that's something that no one else has, right? And that's really valuable to share with others and people that are aligned on your path to get that information.
So Danielle, both of us talk about human design, gene keys, and these systems. But what makes soul mapping different? Like, because you've put together your own creation, and
Yeah.
I think it'd be helpful just to kind of understand how that's different from just a human design reading or a gene key reading.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, along my path, I've had a very interesting process. I got into psychology at a very young age, trying to heal my own, turmoil of what was going on in my life and the traumas and just being a human and a 6'2" in that first stage of chaos and all of that, and a military family, which was very interesting, and went into a lot of spiritual sciences and all the different methodologies and philosophies, and then got into like plant medicines, right? And learning to access other stages of consciousness with plants for healing, and studied astrology for many years, and then got into human design and gene keys. So I kind of bring this other way of reframing. And a lot of what I do is help people reframe like what they're going through to eliminate distortion. And I use several systems to pinpoint exactly what it is, right? And what it's trying to bring forward, because all of our traumas, all of the things that we've been through, it's just like an inversion of a mechanism or something that's trying to teach us something, right? So we can actually transform that and use that as like our gold, right? Like if we can process it correctly, then we can share it in a way that's like that wounded healer, right? Where the wounds become the way that you're the healer. So yeah, I use a lot of different methods to integrate several things at once, like lots of different languages. And even in the Gene Keys system, we can look at the culture sphere, and mine is systems, which is about synthesizing and bridging several systems together to bring about like a new understanding and to kind of bridge all these languages in a different way, because there are so many different ways to the truth. So
yeah. So the way you just described it is you already had these other tools and systems in place. And then here comes human design gene keys and kind of like, whoa, screenshot. It was the same for me. It was like, all the years of, and it might be our 6'2"-ish behavior, of all the years of trying to figure out solutions. And then we go into the study and stuff, and then we find like, oh, this is everything. Oh no, this is everything. Oh wait, this is everything. Oh wait, this. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, this is saying the same thing we're saying. And I think it's such a beautiful point when you recognize that it's the mysticism and the mystery all coming together on this blueprint. Like, wait a minute, Enneagram saying the same thing that human design, that astrology, that whoa. I remember that was the awakening moment for me. Right. And so I started using human design to have context to relate back to what I was learning through the punchline approach. Like what I had come to, it was almost like grabbing something from thin air and then, hey, here, and they're like, I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. Right. And I was like, well, look, it's saying the same thing as this, or it's saying the same thing as this. So I was just like trying to grab the interest and then like show it in several different ways, because the mind learns through repetition. And so when it can see it's the same, then we drop our resistance. And when we drop our resistance, then that evolving is available to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole thing with human design is it's like a precision of language. So yeah, all of these other systems have said similar or the same thing, but it's like human design. What I really love about it is it's like the science of form, the science of existence, and it maps out in a clear way, like what is intuition, like mechanically, what is emotions mechanically, right? Oh, it's your nervous system, it's chemicals. It's like, oh, what does it do? Right. So it's like really like the schematics of life. And that's what I love about it. And that's where, when I integrate all these other systems, that it helps to bring it into a practical, mundane application, but in order to know yourself, right? So that's more what I focus on, is helping people to know like what they're here to do on like a consciousness level and how that shows up in their life. And then on like a existence level, because I'm really into the cosmology and seeing how that even is more than just looking at a person's chart. It's like, where are we going as a species? What time are we in? Like, what is this? Why are we living? Like, what is this? What
is this energy that's working with or against me? What's happening right now? Or like, if like whenever we're looking at the, like you're saying, the codes and the, everything that's in there, and it's like, oh, that's why I feel so guilty. That's why I'm so committed. That's why I shouldn't get into contracts unless it's like, I'm very clear about it. Like those sorts of things, which helps us relate with humanity better and the material world.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we can relate with other people better, like just knowing about how certain codes work whether or not you know your codes or even the other person's codes. And I was studying a lot about the 19th code, because there's a lot coming in with that, because all of the codes explain a process that's going on in humanity, right? Whether you have the code or not. And just as an example, with this 19th code, how it's affecting everyone. And it's like a lot about needs and the pressure for that, and how it relates to religion, how it relates to codependency, how it relates to being a sensitive, right? It relates to your hair, skin, nails, animals, food. It's like all of these things. And you can see it through this lens of this codon of your DNA. Right. So
pull
really
interesting. While you're talking, I'm going to pull your website up so everyone can see. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's, what I do at Soul Mapping is help people understand more about, finding the purpose of their existence. And because we all should definitely be thinking about that, because that is actually the time that we're in the evolution of consciousness, is figuring out why we exist mentally. And we are in a deep transition. I've been talking a lot about the mutation that is coming in 2027. So yeah, this is my website here. For anyone who would like to book an individual session, you can go to that book a session link.
It's linked in the comments below. If you hit the little down arrow, there's a comment there. You can just book a session and it'll take you right to this.
Yeah. And soulmapping.life. It's also my Facebook page and the YouTube. So you can find more content there. But yeah, I just love sharing this information because it's super interesting and it explains so much about life. And a lot of times when we share it and you start to hear about this stuff, it just makes sense, right? Because it's a logical science. It's not actually mystical. It's not spiritual. It's not therapeutic. It's none of that. It's a mental science, and it helps our mind to be in the proper position in our existence, which is about being the passenger and observing and being entertained and communicating and being our translator for what we're experiencing in a clear way. So yeah, it's really fun to share this and really interesting. So yeah, that's the part that I've been working on, and Kim and I have been discussing creating a mentorship program together where we can actually bridge both of our systems together to help people have a more integrated approach with their business, with their path. And a lot of people that we work with are life coaches or healers or people that have their own clients, right? So the more that we can get all this information out to the healers and the coaches, because so many coaches and healers, like in our day, sometimes they kind of throw out like blanket statements or like, this is how everyone should do this, or this is how everyone should do that. And it's not really individuated. So it can be more conditioning. I'm not trying to like throw shade or anything like that, but we are all different. We're all unique, and we need that unique approach. So
100%, especially in business.
Yeah.
Business coaching, the cookie cutter style, this is how marriage should be. This is how partnership should be. This is how relationships, this is how you should do business. So much of that. And I even find it's with these systems, like you'll get someone who's intellectualizing it. And like, I've had these situations come up and they're like, no, you're supposed to, or you did, or you, and not a lot, like planting the information and then allowing for exploration and experience. And if you take that away from your clients, then they're not learning it for themselves. And so they've just been conditioned by what someone else told them. Mm-hmm. And I see this the same thing in business. I have something called eSchool, which is me and my team. We help the health and wellness practitioners create an online business that is individualized for them and their goals. How much do you want to work? How much do you want to make? Who do you want to help? What does this look like? We take that first and prioritize it. And then we build the business to align with the life that they're creating instead of, I don't want to use a cuss word, but it's like, my business used to own me.
Yeah.
And I'm still adjusting as a 6'2" coming off the roof. I'm still trying to find life in the material world, because all I knew is life as the business owner, or life as the server, the practitioner, the participant for someone else. And I see so much of it happening even through this information or intellectualizing the information.
Right. Yeah. And, the information is deep, it's the science of existence, right? So everything in existence from the micro down to, up to the macro. So some people can get lost in the details and it's okay, right? Like it doesn't matter. Each person's going to have their own process with it. Ideally, though, there is like a specific process to go through so that you can take in the information, even with Kim stuff, right? You're not just going to go straight to the complexities. You have to kind of build on your foundation because it's alchemy, right? We're like changing and shifting and moving through everything. So
yeah, so this is where you can start with me. It's Self-Healing Masters is where we work on the practitioner personally. So this is like the hangout, the community for coaches and holistic practitioners and healers. This is for the wounded healer because there is so much projection and reflection going on because of our own wounds. And then we have this desperation to heal humanity, but it's actually coming from the desperation to heal ourselves. And so I created Self-Healing Masters as the place for mind, body wellness coaches. And from here is where we move into growing the business. But this is the first step. This is even before eSchool, is you want to get really clear about who you are, what you want, and what you help people with. And once you have that and you're in a supported community where you're letting all of your disbelief and doubts come up, all of your unresolved trauma come up so that you can get really clean, have compassion for yourself, then you can have compassion for someone else. Because when I was in this position, I was like a sledgehammer. I mean, I was coming in like a lightning bolt, to really help them break through that. And it was because it was so active and it was so alive and it was so vibrant. And, once like I've actually calmed my nervous system down and really settled in, trusting life, allowing things to come to me and just responding, like everything has changed. So that's the work we do in here. Here's my page that you guys can go to. It's also linked below. It's a membership. It's $99 a month. You can cancel anytime. So if you want to come in and kind of get a taste for it, a touch for it, we go through the 4 levels of growth or 4 pillars of growth, which is mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And it's like a way to integrate mindset with mind-body healing. So when we bring those pieces together and we experience it on all levels, then, like Danielle says, once we go through this deconditioning process, it's the same thing. And then your true essence shows up. So we have to go through that unlearning, that unveiling, so that we can understand where it came from. And then we plant the vision of your potential. That's where human design, gene keys, all of this stuff comes in, because those are opportunities to experience your own potential. Go and try it out. And it's maybe something you've never heard before, or someone's never told you about yourself, that you actually have the opportunity to experience. So this is my site. And then I'm going to show you what Danielle and I have done together. Like I said, all of our stuff is linked below. I feel like I just went speeding through all that, but it really is about getting personal support so that you can grow your business. And for all of us entrepreneurs, it's a pretty lonely world when you're trying to figure this out for yourself. And there's so much dog-eat-dog competition. You're doing it right. Don't do it this way. I got to the goal before you did. Judgment and comparison is the reason that humans suffer. And it is coming from competition. Guys, we're all on the same page. We're all in it together. And once you can tap into your uniqueness, then there's no longer an angst of trying to be what you think you need to be to get to where someone else is at. Oh, that was a lot. Okay. So this is something Danielle and I have created together. It's the human design. It's right here in the center. Discover your design, what's the importance about human design, understanding more about yourself. And then we talk about the signatures, authorities, centers. The forecast is our live, it's this right here. But if you go right to this, it will give you everything we've ever done together. Like that's on YouTube all in one place. There's also, you'll see the same thing on the YouTube channel. There's a, what do you call it? Playlist with the work that we do. So that's what we have here for you. So all of this stuff is linked below. Let me come back to you right on time.
Yes.
Anything else?
Perfect. Yeah, no, I mean, I think we just wanted to share with people because Kim and I were even just having this conversation about getting more clarity about what each one of us is doing and things like that, and just how important that is, especially like if any one of you are entrepreneurs or trying to get into this field of working for yourself, it's really important to have allies and people that you support and they support you, and you work together. And that's a big process because we're not all isolated. We do need to work together, and we can bring a lot of good, bridging different tools for people and things like that. So
this is a good time to kind of bring up and mention and see what you guys want, because we need something to respond to. So let us know below if you would like to integrate Danielle's soul mapping with these systems, with human design, and like really understanding that with integrative coaching. And so that is something that we're talking about creating for 2022. And we're like really going to probably do more of a formal announcement in a couple of weeks, but I would love to hear what you are seeking, what you are looking for that we can help with. We already know that it's going to be bringing our expertise together. My integrative mind body coaching and self-healing. Everything I do is about self-healing. It's not about healing anyone else or being the healer. It's actually about coming to your own wholeness so you can be the conduit. And then we adopt or integrate the punchline approach, which is a 5-step framework for you to take your clients deeper in a very simple, practical way. Now, here's the beauty. If you happen to be in an area or an environment who is afraid of, like, they think this is like against religion, or like, talking about hypnotherapy or human design or astrology is like way too woo and they're afraid of it. That's what this does. This takes all of that labeling off, and it's the same exact process. So what would happen is when you're working with Danielle and I together under the mentorship program is she would be describing all of the mechanics and understanding the systems and all of that woo stuff. And then I would teach you how to talk about it in a way that's really simple and practical. That's not going to scare people off. And so it's a way that we can combine it. And would you say, do you have another word for it?
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I don't have any clients that are in that realm where they're like,
where they're afraid to talk about that.
There's no, and I don't want any clients like that. I'm like,
well, it's legit though. There's a lot of people coming out that,
I want open-minded people, and, it's not for everyone. So if it doesn't resonate, it's cool. But it does, really practically apply so much of what we're all dealing with in life and what's happening in the world and all of that. And it is very it's a grounded science. So yeah, I mean, I think that check out our websites and keep listening to our podcasts. And I know Kim and I are also doing stuff separate too that we put into the YouTube. So we've got lots of content out there for people to check out to see if you are interested in learning more about it.
And especially as more and more of this comes on board and it becomes more popular, because it's kind of really starting to grow in a big way. So I think we're moving away from all of the labels and all of the judgment and all of the fears. But I want to say it because I do hear so many people who are really healing from the religious dogma. It's not even like they already see that it's not, but they haven't found the languaging.
Right. Yeah. And that's why too, like we say, human design is a mental science. Like it's not spirituality. It's not even woo. It's a very grounded, there's science behind all of it, even though it can be placed in that category of woo because people don't know about it. So they put it in there and they're like, okay, well that must be woo woo. And it's like, well, it's actually very not,
you know what too. And I'm I've been in a community or a couple of communities where I'm bringing this forward, and I keep just got it pushed away. And now 4 and 5 years later, they're starting to talk about it. And it's really about trusting ourselves and knowing that we do have something that to bring forward that maybe is not going to be so popular at the beginning when we're bringing it out, it kind of creates that push pull and pushes some edges. Somebody's got to do it.
Right. Yeah. And with new information, sometimes, people might have a little bit of pushback because it's different. A lot of times, and I know Kim, this probably happens to you too, is the people that come to us, we don't always give them the answers that they want, but we give them the answers that they need, right? The truth. And, I've even had to swallow some of the things in the human design system, learning about different things. And just how things actually are, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, and you know what, too, it's like what I'm seeing is it's as the visionaries, we see the potential for humanity and we're bringing it forward, but it's like it is in the earlier stages. And so it's
Right.
like it's going to get some of that push pull, but we could do it in a fun, practical way.
Yeah,
We are
totally.
determined to have fun and do this and bring it on
Right.
board. And we've already
Totally.
been living it. So it's like super comfortable for us and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's simply
And
not.
we're
And I'm
the,
not going to be quiet anymore. Like,
and we're the type of people, and I think that this is also the type of people we're wanting to work with, are the people that would rather have the truth than a comfortable lie, right? Like we all want to be
sure.
in truth, and what actually is happening.
And, I want more than anything else, and this is reflected in my chart, is for every individual to be an individual, to be able to embrace and embody their own individuality. It's everything. Like I can't experience life without it anymore. It's like the very essence of my being. And
Mhm.
so, really wanting to express and like talk about permission for them to be what feels good and right for them. Like
Right.
to me, I can't, that's the fire that I can't put out. So these are the systems that we're kind of using to bring that on board. All right,
Right.
my friends, that's what we have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed. The links are below. Reach out to me or Danielle or both of us if you wanted to have a reading with us together, and where we kind of can show you what we're doing. If you're interested in the mentorship and you want to bring this work into your coaching, that's what we're going to be talking about doing early next year.
Yep.
I think that's it. And give us something to respond to.